Ooh, we're back in the room. Back in the room.
Back in the room.
I know. And this week we are talking about ADHD tax and should you pay it?
Mm.
And the should you pay it part is the kind of is the interesting part for me. Yeah, because I know that there's a lot of stuff on TikTok about what is ADHD tax and yeah, we'll get into that.
We're going like wrestle it in a little pit of a little like muddy kind of pit.
Yeah, we are going to wrestle it out in in 80s mud wrestling style.
Yeah.
And we're going to add some layers to this, which people don't normally talk about. So without further ado, welcome to ADHDville.
Yes. Every Tuesday, yes. Come hither.
Every Tuesday, come hither.
Come hither, get the flesh.
Or if you're a vegetarian,
yeah,
garbanzo beans, maybe.
Yeah. Or eat insects, which apparently is the next big thing. Hello, by the way.
Hello.
Hello, I'm Paul Thompson. Yes, I am. And I was diagnosed with ADHD some months ago now.
Jesus, really?
Some months ago. Yeah, it
was. Oh, that's why we're doing the podcast.
Shocker,
that's why we're doing the podcast.
Shocker.
The penny's just dropped.
Yeah.
Just dropped.
You should have like the ticker at the bottom of the screen there, a little ticker.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Paul and Martin are neurodivergence.
Oh, man. Yeah, I should just have that ticker just permanently on a T-shirt so that everyone knows. By the way, Martin West diagnosed. Yes, I'm Martin West, and I was diagnosed with ADHD in 2013.
Yes.
11 or so years ago. Man, I was just a boy. Just a boy.
Exactly. And here's my segment, which I'm not going to milk. I milked this segment a couple of weeks ago.
You did?
I'm going to strip it down to its bare knuckles. Okay.
You milked it like some udders.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just two mates who, by coincidence or not, after 39 years of wrestling in the mud, of friendship, discover that we're co-ADHDers. Now, it's really important to say, and I mean really important to say, this is an entertainment podcast.
Entertainment.
It's starting to sound like about Bruce Forsyth. Right, my love. Get nothing for a game. Get nothing for a pair. Not in this game. Podcast about ADHD, and does not substitute. No, for individualized advice from qualified health professionals.
No,
so don't take any advice from us.
For God's sake, no! Jesus
We're
Christ,
just here. No, don't do that. That would be messy. We're just here as a kind of all-inclusive.
Come back to the mic.
We're just here as a kind of all-inclusive ADHD park bench with room for everyone, including your doppelgangers, your alter egos, your body doubles, your chaperones, or your best buddies. Still here, great. Grab your jetpacks, pedalos, space hoppers, or any other transportation methods, and let us take you to ADHDville. Name of the podcast, coincidentally.
Jesus Christ, it's all coming together.
Yeah, totally. It's an imaginary town, Martin, that we've created in our minds.
In our minds, yeah, that's right.
Different parts of ADHD. Yeah, that's generally the same.
Is that what we're doing? ADHD. What is ADHD?
9 months now. Shouldn't be surprised.
I have no idea what this
is.
And we start off, as always, here in the town hall in the mayor's office, where we, the joint mayors of ADHDville,
hello,
take care of business.
And hiccups.
And, let me just get the same agenda that I had last week. There we go. Oh, okay. Well, we are talking about something that is very much uh, close to home for us as joint mayors who have to do the annual budgets for ADHDville. It's a town. There and when we have to like take care of the money and the taxes. That's very much what we do day in day out. So we are looking at ADHD tax, and should you pay it?
Should you pay it? And it's not like the medieval form. Like, well, ADHDville has, we could, if we get short on money, we do it like they did in the medieval period. Set up a table in the town hall, in the town square, and invent new taxes to pay.
No. There's us every
coffers
year.
in.
There's a big table. There's all the citizens of ADHD line up. And we do sometimes have a big burly guy holding a sword.
Yeah,
that's
or axe, depending on availability.
Yeah, we have to hire these things out. Because we don't pay our guards people enough to kind of own anything. They just rent it out for special occasions. So if
at best, if I've got a rabbit spare that I've just hunted that morning, I'll give him a rabbit.
All right. Happy. Well, that's very nice of you. Yeah, I was just gonna say that if trouble breaks out anywhere in ADHDville, our armed guards have to go to the renter arms place just to rent all the axes and the swords and the stuff that they need, and it takes a bit of time to kind of but that's what it's like here in ADHDville sometimes. Yeah,
that's the cut of our jib at times.
That is the cup of our jib. All right, so where are we going? Where shall we go to talk about ADHD tax?
I think didn't we say we're going to go to the police station?
We're going to go to the Popo place.
Police.
Yeah, because like ADHD,
it's criminal.
Well, yeah, it is. And you often get fines and stuff, and it's it feels like a place of penalty. So
I once spent some time in jail. Did you know that?
All right, I've spent one night.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you now?
One night. Yeah. What in a police cell? That is.
Yeah, me too. In a police cell. Did you? What did you get up to?
Oh God, this is like an ADHD. This is a perfect example of ADHD tax, right?
Right.
Here we go. Settle in.
Buckle up.
Actually, you know what? We're going to get in the mayor's car. We're going to go to the police station because that seems like a perfect place to begin this story. So let's jump in. We'll turn the sirens on and.
Street bluesy kind of.
I know. I like those.
Love that
electric piano vibes. I enjoyed recording that one. All right. So many years ago, going back in time, I was working at the office on a project. This was at Redland, actually, and I was working late on it because. I don't know, I'd procrastinated or I'd taken on too much work that I could actually handle, right? So I was having to work, I'd completely time blinded myself. I was having to work into the night to get this piece of work done. And I had to have it in this guy's hand for first thing in the morning. And he lived in London. So once I finished this piece of work, I grabbed I just saved it onto 3.5-inch floppy disk because that's.
Of course, you did. So we were working together at this point. We were working together in the same place.
Maybe maybe.
Well, if it was floppy disk, then we were working together.
Yeah.
All right.
So I shoved
And you didn't tell me any of this. My God, Mr. West. I feel like saying,
yeah.
Mr. Darcy.
Oh, I know.
Mr. Darcy.
So it's about 1 a.m.
Blimey.
at this point, right? And I finish the job, I save it
Right.
to disk, I shove it in an envelope, I drive in my car, right, all the way up to like somewhere in London, right? Drop it off. I'm on my way back, and I'm driving through kind of past Croydon area, and then a police car. This is like, by this point, it's like 2:00 in the morning, and the police car pulls me over, and he's like, have you been drinking? I'm like, no. He says, like, because I'm looking in your eyes, and your eyes are all kind of screwed up, fucked up. I said, no, man, I just did a load of work. I had to get it in the deadline. I'm really tired. I had to drive up to London, drop it in. It's very stressful. So I'm just like, he said, oh, and let me just search your car. So he searched my car, and he found like a little bit of weed, right? Just the tiniest bit that I had in like a little thing that I'd even forgotten about. I just forgotten about the whole goddamn thing, but it was there, right?
Right.
So like, he's like, right. He gets on the phone, then the meat wagon turns up, right? And then I'm kind of like, I have to go in there, and they take me to the police station. So we're now like 2:30 in the morning or something, right?
Blimey.
And they wake up the doctor or something. He gets called in, so it's now like 3 in the morning. He's there, I'm there. He asks me a load of questions, like I think he was like trying to find out whether I was high or not, right? So they took a blood sample, right? And he was asking me loads of questions about when I was born. He was just like rapid fire stuff. He was really pissed off because he was in bed half an hour ago. Right. God. So he was like rattling the stuff off, and I was getting really confused because it was like really late at night now. And my brain had just fried by that point. So it's been fine. And then they took me to the interview room with the cassette, with the tape machines, like you see in the cop shows, right? So there's
I want that cassette to exist still somewhere in the bunker of a police station.
Well, it was
there's still that cassette of Mr. West.
Well, they're supposed to like get rid of all the all of the files and that after a certain number of years. So in theory, that shouldn't exist, but I'd love to hear it if it did.
Wow,
it'd be hilarious. So I get loads of questions, and then I get held in the police cell overnight. There's a guy in the next cell to me, because I think England had just played or something. It was like around the Euros or something, or the World Cup, and he was singing for the rest of the night. He was like singing football songs. And then I was kicked out the next morning, and I had to kind of walk all the way to find my car again.
Blimey. So how come I don't know this?
I don't know. But by the way, I wasn't high. The blood test came back as negative, and
Blimey, Charlie,
and I was fine. But no. So there was no weirdness happened. It was just Blimey. It was just one of those things.
So we're at the police. We're at the police station again, Martin. It must become quite habitual for you,
right? So we're talking about ADHD tax. So this is why this is a perfect example of the tax that being arrested, spending the night in the jail, and all of that crap was basically because
Oh,
I did not plan my
consequences.
time better so that I finished the job at a reasonable time so that I could just put the discs in the post or get a courier to take it over.
Yeah.
But no, I left it all so late that I ended up having to get in the car and take it to the thing, and then I got arrested on the way back. So that was the tax I paid for my
Emotional tax.
well, it was my time was taxed because that was my thing. It was an emotional tax. You know, it was a tax in like in like stress and anxiety, all because I did not
help me
manage my
picture
time
that.
better.
Are you the sort of person at that moment? Would you have been really hard on yourself about it in your mind? You know, it's like, oh, why do I get myself into that kind of those shenanigans?
Yeah, no, I just because it was the first time that had ever happened, and it hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
So it was I kind of viewed it as like just really bad luck at the time. But I look back on it and kind of think, oh, okay, yeah, no, I see why I set myself up for that. I set myself up for that whole thing to happen because I was just time blood and I didn't future think anything. So but yeah, at the time it's just like, oh, that's just dumb, stupid luck that I just happened to drive down that particular street at that particular time with that particular cop.
Yeah.
But in reality, no, I'd basically placed all of the things. I put all I'd set up the things in my life so that would be the consequence.
Yeah.
In reality.
I mean, it's weird. I think I've had so many of those kind of consequences, those kind of like ridiculous situations that you find yourselves in. You know, especially if you're like us. I've got so many that I can't think of one in particular.
I know. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. It's not like there's like a few here and there scattered around. It's like endless. And sometimes I can remember thinking, how did I get myself into this kind of situation?
Yeah. So just to be clear, so ADHD tax, what is the ADHD tax? It is the financial or emotional or time penalty that you pay for having ADHD. So that could mean for, on the money side, if you don't open your envelopes and you don't see a bill come in and a final demand come in, and then you're scrambling around, because they just turned off your lights, right? So you're then having to like scrabble around to kind of try and get that sorted out. So and then or you'll end up paying a late fee, right? So that's like a financial penalty. Then there's the emotional penalty, which is like it's the stress and the anxiety that you cause yourself because you
shame as well.
Yes, and the shame, and then there's the time penalty part, which is like you end up, like that saying, a stitch in time saves nine, right? That if you take care of something early, it'll only take one stitch, but if you leave it, it'll end up taking nine stitches. So that's the time bit, like the extra time that you end up having to sort out the crap that it would have taken you 5 minutes to do a particular task like a week ago, but now it's taking you 3 hours to sort it out.
I don't think I've ever paid a parking fine on time, and therefore it not doubling.
Right. There you go. ADHD tax.
Ever. I've never paid a parking fine on time. Definitely not.
Yep. yeah, I'm a little bit hit and miss on those. I actually got one just last week, and it's really annoying because I parked. Like um, you can do it through an app now, right? The
Mm,
quite often the parking place has a little sign, and you download
mm,
the app, and then you pay it on the app. And I did all that,
yeah.
and I don't know, it was a little weird, a little funky. Something happened, and then I thought I'd actually done it and paid for it,
Mm.
but I think I actually ended up paying for some other different spots somewhere else. That's what I think.
Okay.
Like I'd somehow mixed up the numbers or something, because when I came
Right.
back to the car, oh yeah, nope, there you go. There's a parking violation,
Oh God.
so I've got to pay that. Um, but yeah, no, because it's now sitting in my car, right? That little thing that I
Yeah.
need to pay it is sitting in my
Yeah.
car. It's
Yeah.
not here. I have to remember to get it out of the car, put it here so that I pay it. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
as you say, it'll be late, and I pay a ADHD tax of. Not only
Yeah.
will it be I'm paying more, but then it'll be
Mm.
my wife going, "What the hell is this?
Yeah.
What hell?" I've just seen on our bank statements there's this penalty, this late
Yeah.
penalty thing that you didn't pay. So then
Uh,
I've got all that grief.
uh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
ADHD tax.
I once accumulated in Palermo about, I think it got up to like 400 euros in parking fines.
Ooh,
Yeah. And I didn't pay.
what happens? What happens if that just continues on?
Well, I was risking it because a friend of mine is um, a lawyer based in Palermo, and she said actually that street, because it was all in a street outside my apartment, and she said
Right.
actually they have no right to give you parking fines along that street, and so because they're not connected to the police, and so they were, I don't know, given
So
the
you,
right
so,
to give fines, but they couldn't actually legally claim the fines in
all right.
reality. So they chase and chase and chase. And I was saying, "Are you sure? It's getting like 400 years. Yeah, just hang tight, hang tight."
All
And
right.
actually, it
Okay.
came through in the end. It came through. It
All
was just
right.
a Palermo thing.
Got it.
Yeah,
All right. And that makes me feel a little bit easier.
yeah,
Cool. I mean, like after that big, I'm just thinking. Okay, I'm just thinking like, so there's so much. So so I think that we kind of get an idea, right? So I think there was someone said like how much ADHD costs you in real money each
yeah,
year, and it's actually quite a substantial
yeah,
amount when you add up all those those fines, the extra money that you have to pay because you didn't pay a
yeah.
smaller amount earlier, and
Mm,
you know and it does end up being substantial in the
yeah,
end.
it
It's
does.
quite nuts. um
Yeah, I tend to trust people too much as well. And
oh yeah.
I had a messy legal issue once, and it was actually a divorce, and it got drawn out, and me being an idiot, and I could say that I didn't get a from the lawyers, I didn't get a kind of a fee estimate for any of it. Ended up paying 14,000 euros, and
Right.
it was like God. It was really hard. It was really hard, and I had sleepless nights. Thinking, how am I going to pay
Mm-hmm.
that off? It was like, oh God, just trusting people too much. And I don't think that's ADHD at all. It was more just about me, just like trusting. But they were actually connected to a friend, and I thought they would be honest. Turns out they were really dishonest lawyers.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. But I've
Right.
got a thing here, well, not changing the subject, but on a slightly different um, th- um, discussion.
Yeah.
I wonder, so this is more of a question, whether or not you could you could expect banks, if they were better, maybe the bills and contracts, bank statements, energy bills could be designed better in order that it could suit ADHD people more. I guess I'm
Right.
talking about. I know that in the UK they're pretty good with this kind of thing. In Italy they're really bad. You
All
get a
right.
bill in Italy that comes through, and it's like, what? What are they
Oh yeah,
asking?
you've
What do I have to pay?
right. Yeah, you've said
And
this
so I just,
before.
okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
like
just like put
like
it to one side.
it's that it's not straightforward and
No,
easy. That you'll have to kind of go over here and get that authorized over
yeah,
here, so you can take the authorized thing over to
yeah,
somewhere else. To like
yeah,
the levels of bureaucracy are just
yeah.
make it so much
But I mean,
harder.
they are getting better. Some of them are better than others. But I had a letter from my bank the other day, and I, for the life of me, couldn't work out what they actually wanted me to do. And even my girlfriend, who is Italian, she said, I can't understand it either.
Oh wow!
It's something to do with insurance related to a bank loan. And I was like, oh, God. And I've ignored it for 3 weeks now
All right.
when I know
Yeah.
that I should go into the bank. But she's like, oh, God. I need to go to the bank with it and
Okay.
say,
What's this?
what the hell is this?
Right.
Do I need to do something?
And if
Um,
so, what?
and if so, what? Exactly. What are the consequences if I don't do anything about it? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Right.
Yeah. Tons of
And I
stuff
think
like that.
yeah. I mean, like so, trying to avoid the ADHD tax is really about what things can I put in place that
Mm,
combat things like time blindness. Um, so that I realize that if I don't do it now, that tomorrow there's going to be a consequence.
mm,
Or like like so for banks, for example, there I'm a big proponent of getting things on automatic payment.
yeah.
It's especially all the essential things like
Mm,
lights and anything else that has to be paid. If there's an automatic way of setting that up, I am all
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because that
Yeah. I'm not good at that.
right, because
Yeah.
that's just frees up so much of my headspace. Like it
Yeah.
just goes out every month,
Mm,
pays. Like yeah. So like
yeah. I've got two apartments that I have to I have two sets of bills, which is a nightmare. And my
mm,
son, bless him, when I go and visit him in Turin, and he gives me a pile of bills, I can feel myself being triggered, and he can feel it as well. He gets nervous. He like hands them over to me like oh here you are. He calls me Pop. Here you are, Pop. It's
right,
like,
yeah,
and you could tell he's getting anxious because he knows I'm going to get anxious.
right. So there is the tax right there. So
Yeah.
if in this other world you had all of those bills were automatically paid, right?
Mm.
Um, then when you went to visit your son, you two guys wouldn't have that
Yeah.
tension and that anxiety,
Yeah.
because then he wouldn't feel bad about having to hand over
Mm.
to his dad like a bunch of bills like that he knows
Yeah.
his dad's got to
He doesn't
pay, and he
like having
feels
to do
bad
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. So it's like, so there's the tax. That's the tax you two guys are having to
Yeah.
pay every time
Yeah.
you visit him.
Yeah. Bear in mind, it's very, very rare. In fact, I don't think it's ever happened. It's never been a case that I couldn't afford to pay the bills.
No,
That's not the problem. That's not
no,
it.
no. It's because if you have ADHD, you're so used to like things going wrong, and you have to have a little pile of money over here to kind of pay for something that you have to
Yeah.
do over here. So
Yeah.
you're trying to control it, right? And
Mm.
you feel like, okay, if I put something on a direct payment, it comes out of my account. I
Yeah.
feel like, well, that feels like out of my control because I might need that
Totally.
money to pay for something
Totally.
over here, right?
Yeah.
Which is false thinking most of the
Mm.
time. It's because it's actually right. I need to set all this up so that so that everything goes out, and that is the real control. That's the real.
Mm-hmm.
That's
well. Also, the other element of control is I really hate unpredictability.
right.
So if I can't predict something, it's like, so if a bill turns up, it's like, oh God, what's it going to do? Oh, I get it's a physical fear. I get like a stone in my stomach.
Mm. Yeah,
It's
no,
quite
I
bizarre.
hate it.
I hate it.
Yeah, no, that
So the other thing I thought of, apart from maybe
is
banks and energy companies could do a better job on occasions of making information clearer, I wonder if it could ever exist one day where you could have ADHD accredited accountants. What would that look like? If they were like, would it make any difference? Maybe not.
I don't know, because
If
it's
they
like
knew, if
I feel like there's some functions where it really the whole ADHD thing is really about, say we talk about my taxes. The tax season has just come and gone, and um, like really it's about me and my ADHD getting my shit together so I can just hand it
yeah,
over to an accountant and go, okay, well, and then it's now my responsibility. So this is something I've got to do later today and tomorrow, is that I get the all the tax paperwork back. Then I now have to sit and go through all of his work to make sure that it's right.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh really?
Because
Oh
well,
blimey.
yeah, because you know what happens, right? If you trust your fucking accountant, they'll make a mistake, and then there'll be a screw up, and then and then it's all like fucked up. So I have to go through it and just make sure that it.
Oh
I mean,
crikey.
that it basically makes some kind of sense, right? That it looks about right. I mean, I can't kind of like go through line by line, but there's points of it that I go, okay, right, yeah, that's how much I paid in freelance fees, because I know how much I paid for my business, my outgoings, right? I know how much I paid for my Photoshop subscription and all that other stuff. So I get all that information, see how much outgoings I had for my business, and I have to find that in the paperwork and make sure that they kind of match.
Yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
there's parts of it that I can kind of look at. And that's boring. Boring as hell.
Yeah.
But if I don't do it, then I risk trusting people and getting screwed over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll leave that
And
silence
the
there.
IRS in the States are hardcore, right?
Yeah.
They're generally paying taxes in Italy is quite, well, how can I say it? They're reasonably flexible. They're pretty good. Yeah. But I know the IRS in the States, they're quite hardcore, which is one of the reasons why your taxes are quite low, because they're good at collecting them.
Maybe.
Where in Italy, tax collecting is crap, so the taxes are high, and there's a lot of black market kind of shenanigans going on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tell me more,
It's a
Mr.
lot.
Thompson. What happens?
Well,
So you kind of
well, there's like in Italy there is culturally a vicious circle of mistrust. Like okay, there's a mistrust from the public that the government are going to use the taxes properly, okay, and spend it on things that need to be spent on, and no corruption. Ha ha ha. Okay, but then vice versa, the government don't trust the public to pay their taxes. So then it just goes round and round and round, and so we end up paying taxes higher than they should be. But also, there's generally, I don't think there's any more corruption in Italy than there is in the States. It's just things are, I think, the same in the UK. I think in the UK, generally better at hiding things. I mean, America and the UK are famous for. Just one example of the hurricane damage that was done in New Orleans a few years back. Hurricane, whatever it was, $1 billion of $1 billion of aid went missing, disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's not like it doesn't happen in the States at all.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
But Italians are just more obvious with it, and
Yeah.
less shame about it. It's like, Italians say it's not so much that you get caught. It's not so much that you do something that's bad. The worst thing, the shame is actually being caught.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different for them in this culture, in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Anyhow,
so I want to get onto like ADHD tax and should you pay it? So what I mean by that is you should definitely not try and cut down on the amount of money that goes out because of if late fees and even like things like subscriptions that you may have signed up to, right? Like and then you forget, right?
God,
And then there's all
yeah.
this money just
Oh,
leaking
man.
out of your account, right? So
Yeah.
and all of that, and you forget that it's there, right? So all of that stuff, like, should be tax that you shouldn't be paying, right? So you should try and deal with all of that stuff, in the same way that if there's something that you can do now that will save a disaster tomorrow, then you should do it now, right? So so you don't pay the time tax and the emotional tax, right? All of those things shouldn't be, you should not be paying it. When I say right, when I say, well, should you pay it, there are times like and I find this, like, if I'm in a store and I need something that I always have, right? So say it's I don't know, say it's like soap, I don't know, right? And I will go and get a bar of soap, right? And I go, oh look, it's bar of soap. Oh look, it's on sale. Great, right? I'll just have that. If I have to save myself a few cents there, brilliant. Move on. Whereas actually, if you go, you know what, I'm going to spend more now, and I'm going to get 20 of these, even though I don't need 20, but I know that if I get them now, then I'm going to save much more money that way. But I'm going to spend more now. I'm going to spend it now to save myself for tomorrow. So I won't have to buy soap like for the rest of the year,
right?
And I can I've
Unless you're a
saved
dirty
myself.
boy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, unless you've been out there being a dirty boy.
Dirty boy.
Dirty boy, get in that bath. Yeah. So like there are times when it's worth putting in effort and time or money early. Almost like a tax, right? Almost like, okay, right, well, I'd normally spend $1 on this bar of soap, but I'm going to spend $30, right? I'm going to pay that now so that I save. So for the rest of the year, I don't have to buy soap ever again, and I've saved myself $10. Right. So sometimes it's worth, not just in the money things, but just worth spending time, money up front, spending more than you would normally, more than you would. You spend more than you would normally. But down the line, you win.
Yeah, I kind of do a bit of that. I mean, I generally don't buy cheap clothes. It's like I won't go into I don't know what you have in the States, but I won't buy clothes from like Zara's that we have in Europe, or kind of like the cheaper shops, because I know it just won't last. And I'll buy like a good pair of jeans, like Diesel or Paul Smith or stuff, and they last. I've got jeans that have lasted, 15 years. So I do a bit of that, and it's like one thing that I don't have to think about. Buy good pair of jeans, or sometimes I buy two if I'm feeling extravagant. And it's like I don't have to think about trousers. Also, because I hate the transitional part of trying on trousers.
Oh
in a
yeah,
shop.
yeah. That whole
I hate it.
buying clothes. Oh yeah,
Oh God,
it's
I
horrible.
hate
Those
it.
changing rooms.
Oh,
Oh,
they're
it's
just horrible.
yeah, it
It's
is.
like
It is.
it's just like nasty.
It's all
So
uncomfortable, weird.
yeah. So then if you get to know, like I know diesel jeans, I know what cut to buy and I know what measure to buy, and I buy maybe 2 pairs in 2 different
Hmm.
colours. Oh, that saves me a whole load of stress
Yeah,
for a long time. You know.
right. So yeah, so that I would argue is a tax
Okay.
that you should pay, right? So
Yeah.
if you buy one thing, okay, maybe you spend more money on a quality item, so you're paying that tax up front, right? You
Hmm.
just pay that extra money, but
Yeah.
as you say, you know that thing is going to last you for ages and ages,
Yeah.
you know. So
There's another aspect of this is that having been, well, you were diagnosed a long time before me, but been diagnosed recently. But it's now come to mind as we're doing this podcast. I mean, for years, yeah, for years actually. I always wondered, right, like Paul, is this some kind of self sabotage thing you do? So this is before I had ADHD diagnosis, and wasn't on my radar. I'm just like, wasted a lot of time and energy thinking, why the hell am I doing this self sabotage thing? You know, not paying my bills, causing myself grief and anxiety. So it's like what I'm really getting the point I'm trying to make is that after my diagnosis, there's I'm paying less taxes in a way because at least I know
right.
what it is.
Hmm.
At least I know what it is now, and I could do something about it, and um, hopefully build up. I mean, it's early doors, but build up a new set of mental tools to avoid them when I can.
Hmm.
At least that.
I just thought of another ADHD thing, and should you pay it? So, for example, if if I'm in a store, right, and and I know that we're out of washing up liquid, right,
Mm.
and we're completely out, and I desperately need toilet rolls. Let's do toilet rolls because they're even more
All right.
essential, right? I know that I'm
Well,
down
yeah.
to my last few, like squares on a
Squares,
roll, right? Squares on a roll, and
double quilted.
well, actually, let's say I've got like a, a day's worth, right? So I've got a few, right?
All right.
I've got enough to kind of get through the next day, and maybe if I just hold it in a bit,
Mm.
I'll be fine, right? And I'm in the store, and I see that there's toilet rolls there, right?
Right.
And they're quite expensive. I mean, they're well, they are regular price for a store, but I know that if I go back home and I order them on Amazon or something, all right,
Mm.
I can
Yeah.
get them a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And you sit there and kind of go, right, well, do I buy the expensive ones now and I know that I
Mm.
have them, or do I
Mm.
go home, go online,
Mm.
get them, and then they'll be delivered in time for my little bum, and I'll be, and then I'll have the toilet roller, and I'll save myself 10 quid, right,
Right.
or something. So that's like do you pay the ADHD tax or not? So I
Mm.
will go. This is the conversation I have with myself, and sometimes me and my wife have the same conversation. It's like, we have ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. You'll forget when you go home.
Mm.
You'll forget to go online. You'll forget to buy
Exactly.
them,
That's the thing.
and
Yeah.
and then you'll run out. So no, buy the
Yeah.
expensive toilet rolls now. Pay the tax. Pay the ADHD
Yeah.
tax because you have
Okay. Yeah.
ADHD,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so that you'll have them now, and so that is an example of, yeah, you pay the ADHD tax because you know you have ADHD. It's wishful thinking to think that you'll go home and you'll sort it out. You just have to know yourself to kind of go, yeah, no, I won't. I won't sort it out. I'll forget, and then I'll be on the toilet and things will go wrong.
The other tax is like you often double your trip because you get home and your girlfriend says to you, "Did you get So you got this, yeah, and you got that, yeah, and this and that, but you didn't actually get the thing that you were supposed to get, the one thing that you actually went out for. You brought back, in my case, it would be dark chocolate with mandolin. What's it in English?
Macadamia nuts, almonds,
No, almonds.
hazelnuts.
Thank you.
All right,
almonds. This is my go-to chocolate, dark chocolate with the almonds, right? And it's like, so you got your bar of freaking dark chocolate with the almonds, but you didn't get the thing that I wanted you to go and get. See, what do? You spend more money, petrol, which is getting more and more expensive. So that's another tax. Back out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Right. Because what I do in these things more and more and more is that when I hear something like, oh, Martin, can you go out and get some toothpaste, right?
Yeah.
Is that my magical ADHD mind thinking will go, I'll remember that. Remember that.
Of course you will.
Don't worry. I've got an image in my head of toothpaste.
Exactly.
It's just one thing. What could go wrong?
I even blinked at the empty toothpaste in the bathroom for half an hour.
Yeah.
Just to help.
My eyes hurt.
Until your eyes bled.
Yeah. So what could possibly go wrong?
I've got really good visual memory. I've got ADHD. Excellent visual memory.
A magical ADHD thinking. So you go out, you go in the store and you go, oh, look, chocolate. Oh, look, almond chocolate. I wonder if got us almond chocolate. Oh, look at this. And then you wander out and you forget the whole thing. So more and more, I grab my phone and I will write down in the little notes, like my iPhone notes, right? I've got so many iPhone notes that I'll just create a new note, things to get, right? Even if it's just one item, right? Toothpaste, right? And I'll write it down there, and then the trick is to actually remember when you're in the store is to pull it up, right? Even if you think you know what's on there, even if you know it's just one item, because sometimes it actually, I remember. Oh yeah, she said something else as well that I wrote down and I forgot.
Yeah.
So you go, oh shit, it's not just toothpaste. It was like, eyeliner or something, right? And then, right. So then you're kind of like, okay, fine. I've got it on my phone, and even better if. On those things, if my wife takes and she does, she'll take a photo of the thing.
Oh, you told me, yeah.
If it's a certain thing, like if it's like her brand of shampoo or her brand of whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I can look at the picture on the phone and look at the item and kind of go, yeah, these are the same. But like
maybe getting like whiplash.
Right.
Oh God!
Yeah,
whiplash.
No, that's just good. Crack. Yeah, I'll have to go and get some aspirin now.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just paid the ADHD tax. I've had to get some aspirin painkillers because I was anyway. So having habits like that then solve the ADHD tax you end up with to pay because you now got time and gas money and petrol money and for them to go out again and your girlfriend or your wife's going, what the hell? Where's my bloody toothpaste, you bastard? You had one job, right?
One job,
right? Yeah. So it's that magical ADHD thinking of like, oh no, I've got this.
Yeah.
As soon as your mind goes, oh, I've got ADHD, so therefore.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to change the game, and it might end up costing me a bit more. But
what about this as a provocation? What if the shopping task was actually something
Yes.
that you really like to shop for? Like you went to the artist material shop.
Ooh, no. I love the Martin's Material Shop. Oh, God, it's so good.
Got it, isn't it?
I just feel so creative. I feel much more
It's just not
creative
boring
inside. If I could just set up an easel inside the store and just, I feel so much more creative inside an art supply store than I do in the parking lot
Aren't they
outside.
the best places?
I know.
Actually, there was until I went to an artist's material shop in Palermo, and I dropped a massive jar of black ink all over the floor, and they weren't happy. Shit. Yeah. It all in slow motion. Fuck. And I didn't have to pay for it, I must admit.
Oh, what? You didn't?
No. It was on the shelf, and I think that it was really tight spaces, and I think, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. Is that bad?
If you break it, you pay for it. That's usually the rule. Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at least it makes you feel slightly better. All right. Okay.
So
well, on that
something interesting, you remember it, don't you? You will not forget. It's like, oh yeah, I need to get an extra fat brush because I'm going to do a self-portrait that's 3 meters by 2 meters.
Jesus,
you're never going to forget that fat brush, that beautiful sable brush.
No. Yeah. So that's the point. The things that you're interested in, your little fixation things. Oh yeah, no, that yeah, those are the fine. It's all the boring stuff. It's the boring stuff that gets you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. Right. So
52 minutes.
I know. Right. So I feel like I don't actually have any posts. I don't feel like there's any particular reason to go back to the post office.
Let's drive straight back to the mayor's office.
Right. Well, let's jump in the car. Hopefully, I've put enough petrol or gas in it so that we actually get back. Because I've got my magical thinking in that I'm thinking that I can let the tank run and down, and I'm like,
right.
Then I have not. Yeah. Let's see if we get there.
That's one good thing about modern cars.
Modern cars, you says, oh, you've got 7 kilometers left of petrol, and it's really reliable. That helps me a hell of a lot. Right. Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, because the ADHD tax is there. Is that if you don't fucking fill it up, then you end up stranded, and all the drama that causes.
Okay.
All right. So
back at the town hall.
Yeah, back in the town hall. So it just leaves me to say that ADHDville is delivered fresh every Tuesday to all purveyors of fine podcasts. Please subscribe to the pod and rate us most forgetful of words. And feel free to correspond at will in the comments. But wait, there's more. If you wish to see our beautiful faces. Ow, I hit the mic. In my arm waving. If you wish to see our beautiful faces, then Sally Fields to the YouTubes. I took your line.
Damn.
I
was just ready to jump in.
Jump in with This should have said
Sally Fields. I love Sally Fields. Always
classic
thing for her.
Yeah. And you can also pick up a quill and email us at ADHDville@gmail.com. I do read them, by the way. So, let's hit the outro button and say visit us on YouTube, TikTok. TikTok's a whole thing. Go and find us there.
It's a beautiful thing.
the couple of friends known as Facebook and Instagram. But in the meantime, be fucking kind to yourself.
And I beseech you, fellow ADHDers, know thyself, sons of the hounds, come hither and get the flesh.
Perhaps beef this time.
I've
Beef.
never actually understood what that actually means. Just sounds good.
Get the beef.
Sounds dramatic.
Yeah, it does. It is very.
For me. It's good enough.
Very dramatic. All
it's
right.
because you said, Paul, you need to improve your outro.
There we go.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
And that's what came back.
It came back.
I was not expecting that right. Outro.
Yeah.
To be fair. All right. There we go.
Alrighty.
That's it. Let's get out of here.
There.
Get out of here.
Says the mayor. That's that.